At the start of the show, the South African Institute for Chartered Accountants is trying to rebuild its institutional credibility and reputation. The industry, of course, has been heavily criticized for its role in state capture. You just have to mention auditing firms like KPMG, for example. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now from our Cape Town studios by Solomon Wen. He's a brand reputation management advisor, and he's written extensively on such matters. Soli, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. Just an overriding question first. I mean, the accountancy profession in South Africa, the auditing profession in South Africa, they've got two bodies, amongst others, that sort of oversee their profession. You've got the regulatory board, ABA, on one side, and then you've got SAICA. Now, overall, do you think they are doing enough since the state capture allegations have come out, since the KPMG stories came out, to really rebuild their image?
No, definitely not. Actually, they're almost doing nothing. I think that going after Anuj Singh is good, but it's late. Okay, I understand the delays behind it, but there are many other people in the profession who have been implicated in wrongdoing, in enabling theft of public funds to happen. And we haven't had these institutions come out clearly to say, wait a minute, this is not acceptable. You know, it's almost like they're acting because there's anger out there, and it's too late. They need to say, these are the standing regulations, and we realize that we need to strengthen our checks and balances. We need to have a lot more discussions actually about the separation of auditing services from consulting services. We need to act on all those individuals who have been implicated. They're not doing that. I mean, they really are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're failing us, really.
Now, if you come to SAICA as an example, it's in the news today because it's starting the 3-day disciplinary hearing of Mr. Anuj Singh, who's a chartered accountant, and his membership has been suspended. They themselves, the SAICA, have been going through a robust and rigorous governance review because they were accused as well of not doing their job as recently as 2018.
Look, these bodies must realize that they mustn't just have these conversations amongst themselves, okay? They need to talk to us South Africans. The money that was allowed to be stolen belongs to all of us South Africans. They need to say to us globally, apart from going after the individuals, which they must do, they must come out and say, we are sorry. We are sorry that our systems, maybe the systems that we thought were robust enough, were strong enough, were not. But it's actually not a matter of systems alone. It's a matter of ethical management, ethical leadership. There was too much focus on shareholder value, as it were, or doing some things in order to retain clients, looking away from wrongdoing so that they don't lose clients, so that they can get more clients. So it's not enough for them to come out and say we're going after Anuj Singh. They need to tell us what systemically are they going to change to make sure these sort of things don't happen again.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't just wish away unethical conduct.
No, you know, I think that, you know, to his credit, Professor Weissman Kutlu wrote an article that I really admired. That's why I've kind of softened my heart towards them. He said, look, what we have done traditionally was to train accountants to do accounting services. You know, we've always placed the interest of the client, of the shareholder, at the heart of everything they do. But actually, in South Africa, especially given our history, there's a need to place public interest at the heart of this. When you have a client who pays you a lot of money, but who is doing wrong to the public, who is stealing from the public, you can't sit there and say, this is my client, I'm going to service my clients, irrespective of the damage they do into public interest or the disregard they give into public interest. And this is, I think, what's been missing in this profession. So they need to stand up and be very clear about ensuring that they see the signs early, not late. Because, I mean, like, how many years has it been since Anuj Singh and others have been doing these things? I mean, it's late. You know what I'm saying? They need to see these things and stop them before they happen. They have to see early indicators of wrongdoing. When they see warning signs, they must jump in. And they haven't done that.
So prevention is very important. They need to focus on that as well. Now I said in my introduction to the show that this kind of sanction that SAICA, for example, will mete out, if there's any sanction. Currently, Mr. Singh has been suspended by members membership has been suspended of SAICA, but the kind of sanction at the end of this disciplinary process will indicate to us whether or not they're serious about rebuilding trustworthiness in their services in the industry. Beyond a sanction, what more can be done? I mean, you've made some key points already. You'd say put in some preventative measures in place. But in your view, Soli, what else could a body like SAICA do to ensure that they bring back respectability and trust into the accountancy profession?
Well, both SAICA and IRBA must work together because they're pretty much in the same area of expertise. I think there's a big discussion about the separation of audit profession from consulting, audit services from consulting services. It's like church and state. They should not be in the same room. The other thing is about the rotation of audit companies, because when you have an audit company staying with the same client for too long, they end up becoming internalized in their view of the world. They end up being on the side of the client. They end up losing their independence. They have to have an oversight. They have to be able to say, this is wrong, we cannot sanction it. If you do, we're walking away. But we haven't seen that happen. Actually, there's a lot more that's been done against public interest that's been allowed to happen by public auditors, members of IRBA and SAICA for many, many years. What we have seen is just the tip of the iceberg. They need to come out. We live in a world where now taking away from the public purse in South Africa is robbing the poor. It's preventing this country from making the progress it can make to create a really, truly inclusive society.
Thank you very much. Soli Mueng, Brand Reputation Management Advisor. In other